The Golden Bird. A certain king had a beautiful garden, and in that garden stood a tree which bore golden apples. These apples were always counted, and about the time when they began to grow ripe, it was found that every night one of them was gone. The king became very angry at this, and ordered the gardener to keep watch all night under the tree. The gardener set his eldest son to watch, but about 12 o'clock he fell asleep, and in the morning another of the apples was missing. Then the second son was ordered to watch, but at midnight he too fell asleep, and in the morning another apple was gone. Then the third son offered to keep watch. The gardener at first would not let him, for fear some harm should come to him. However, at last he consented, and the young man laid himself under the tree to watch. As the clock struck 12, he heard a rustling noise in the air, and a bird came flying that was of pure gold, and as it was snapping at one of the apples with its beak, the gardener's son jumped up and shot an arrow at it. But the arrow did the bird no harm, only it dropped a golden feather from its tail, and then it did flow away. The golden feather was brought to the king in the morning, and all the council was called together. Everyone agreed that it was worth more than all the wealth of the kingdom. But the king said, "One feather is of no use to me. I must have the whole bird." Then the gardener's eldest son set out, and thought to find the golden bird very easily. And when he had gone but a little way, he came to a wood, and by the side of that wood he saw a fox sitting. So he took his bow and made ready to shoot it. Then the fox said, "Do not shoot me. I will give you good counsel. I know what your business is, and I know that you want to find the golden bird. You will reach a village in the evening, and when you get there, you will see two inns opposite to each other, one of which is very pleasant and beautiful to look at. But do not go in there. Rest for the night in the other, though it may appear to you to be very poor and mean." But the son thought to himself, "What can such a beast know of this matter?" So he shot his arrow at the fox, but he missed, and he set up his tail above its back, and it did run into the wood. Then he went his way. In the evening he came to the village where the two inns were. In one of these were people singing and dancing and feasting, but the other looked very dirty and very poor. "I should be very silly," said he, "if I went to this shabby house and left the charming place." So he went into the smart house, and he ate and he drank at his ease, and he forgot about the bird and his own country too. Time did pass on, and as the eldest son did not come back, and no tidings were heard of, the second son set out, and the same thing did happen upon him. He did meet the fox, who did give him the good advice, but when he came to the two inns, his eldest brother was standing upon the window where the merrymaking was, and did call to him to come, and he could not withstand this temptation. He went in, and he forgot the golden bird and his country in the same manner. Time passed on again, and the youngest son too wished to set out upon the wide world to seek for the golden bird. His father would not listen to it for a long time, for he was very fond of his sons, and was afraid that some ill luck might happen, and prevent their coming back. However, at last it was agreed that he should go, for he would not rest at home. And as he came to the wood, he did meet the fox, and he heard the same good counsel. But the youngest was thankful to the fox, and did not attempt his life as his brothers had done. So the fox said, "Do sit upon my trail, and you will travel all the faster." So the boy did sit down, and the fox did run, and away they went over stock and stone, so quick that his hair did whistle in the wind. When they came to the village, the son did follow the fox's counsel, and without looking about him, he went to that shabby inn, and rested there all the night upon his ease. In the morning the fox did come again, and met him as he was beginning upon his journey. And the fox did spake, "Go straight forward, you will come to a castle, before which lie a whole troop of soldiers, fast asleep and snoring. Take no notice of them. Go into the castle, and pass on till you come to a room where the golden bird sits upon a wooden cage. Close by it stands a beautiful golden cage. But do not try to take the bird out of the shabby cage and put it into the handsome one, otherwise you will repent." Then the fox stretched out his tail again, and the young man did sit himself down, and away they went over stock and stone, till their hair did whistle in the wind. Before the castle gate all was as the fox had said, so the son went in, and found the chamber where the golden bird hung in a wooden cage. Below this stood a golden cage, and the 3 golden apples that had been lost were lying by it. Then he thought to himself, it would be a very droll thing to bring away such a fine bird in such a shabby cage. So he opened the door and took hold of it, and he did place the golden bird in the golden cage. But the bird did set up and make such a loud scream that all the many soldiers awoke, and they did take him prisoner, and did carry him before their king. The next morning the court sat to judge him, and when all was heard, they sentenced him to die, unless he should bring the king the golden horse, which could run as swift as the wind. If he did this, he would have the golden bird given him for his own. So off the boy sat once more upon his journey. He did sigh in great despair, and when on meeting his friend the fox, he spoke, "You see now what has happened on account of your not listening to my counsel. But I will still, however, tell you how to find this golden horse, if you will do as I bid you. You must go straight on till you come to the castle, where the horse stands upon his stall. By his side will lie the little groom, fast asleep and snoring. Take away the horse most quietly. Be sure to put that old leather saddle upon him. Do not take the gold one that is close by." Then the son did sit down upon the fox's tail, and away they went over stock and stone, till his hair did whistle upon the wind. All went right, and the groom lay snoring with his hand upon the golden saddle. But when the son did look upon the horse, he thought it such a pity to put that leather saddle upon it. "I will give him the good one," said he, "for I'm sure this horse deserves it." As he took up that golden saddle, though, the groom did awake and cry out so loud that the guards did run in and did take him prisoner. And in the morning he was again brought before the court to be judged, and was again sentenced to die. But through the debates it was agreed that if he could bring hither the beautiful princess, that he should leave, and he should have the bird and the horse given him for his own. Out he went his way, very sorrowful, But the old fox came and spoke. "Why did you not listen to me? If you had, you would have carried away both the bird and the horse. But yet will I once again give you counsel. You must go straight, and in the evening you will arrive upon a castle. Upon 12 at night the princess goes to the bathing house. Go up to her, give her a kiss. She will let you lead her away, but take care you do not suffer her to go and take leave of her father and mother." Once more the fox did stretch out his tail. Once more did the boy sit down, and so away they went over stock and stone, till their hair did whistle in the wind. As they came to the castle, all was as the fox did say, and at 12 o'clock the young boy did meet the princess going to the bath, and he did give her a kiss. She agreed to run away with him, but begged with so many a tear that he would let her take leave of her father. At first the boy did refuse, but the girl did weep still some more, and she fell at his feet. At last he consented, but the moment she came to her father's house, the gods did awake, and he was once more taken prisoner. When he was brought before the king, and the king said, "You shall never have my daughter, unless in the 8 days you dig away the hill that stops the view from my window." Now this grand hill was big, that the whole world could not take it away, and when the boy had worked for 7 days, he had done so very little. Finally the fox did come to him, and did say, "Lie down, close your eyes, and go to sleep. I will work for you." In the morning he awoke, and the hill was gone, and merrily he went to the king, and told him that now it was removed, that he must then give him the princess. The king then was obliged to keep his word, and went away the young man and the princess. The fox did come up to him and say, "We will have all three, the princess, the house, and the bird." "Ah," said the young man, "that would be a great thing, but how could you contrive it?" "If you will listen," said the fox, "it can be done. When you come to the king, and he asks for the beautiful princess, you must then say, 'Here she is.' Then he will be very joyful. You will then mount the golden horse that they are to give you. Put out your hand to take leave of them, but shake hands with the princess the last. Lift her quickly onto the horse behind you, clap your spurs, and do gallop away as fast as you can." All went right, and all did go as the fox did say. So the fox did come again. "When you come to the castle where the bird is kept, I will stay with the princess upon the door. You will ride the horse in and speak to the king, and when he sees that this is indeed the golden horse, he will bring out the bird. But you must sit very still, and say that you want to look at it, to see whether it is the true golden bird. But when you get it into your hand, clasp your spurs, and ride away." The boy did listen to the fox, and as the fox had said, he carried off with the bird. The princess then mounted again, and off they rode into the great wood. Then the fox came, and did tell the boy, "Pray, kill me, cut off my head and my feet." But the young man, with tears in his eyes, refused. So the fox said, "I will at any rate give you good counsel. Beware of 2 things. Ransom no one from the gallows, and sit down by the side of no river." And away the fox did go. Well, thought the young man, it is not so hard to keep that advice. And off he rode with the princess, till at last he came to the village where he had left his 2 brothers. There he heard a great noise and an uproar, and when he asked what was the matter, the people said, "The 2 men are going to go be hanged." and as he came nearer he saw that the two men were his brothers. They had been turned to robbers, so he said, could not they in any way be saved? The people said no, unless he would bestow all of his money upon the rascals to buy their liberty. But he did not stay to think about the matter, but he paid what was asked, and his brothers were given up, and they went with him towards their home. As they came to the wood where the fox had met them, it was so cool and pleasant that the little brothers said, "Let us sit down by the side of the river. Let us rest a while to eat and to drink." "Yes," said the boy, and he forgot the fox's counsel. He did sit down upon the side of the river, and while he suspected nothing, they came behind and threw him down the bank, and they did take the princess, the horse, and the bird, and they went home to the king their master, and spoke, "All this we have won by our labors." Then there was a great rejoicing made, but the horse would not eat, the bird would not sing, and the princess only wept. The youngest son had fallen to the bottom of the river's bed, but luckily it was nearly dry, but his bones were almost broken, and the bank was so steep that he could find no way to get out. The old fox did come once more, sit upon him and scold him for not following his advice, otherwise this evil would not have befallen him. "Yet," spoke the fox, "I cannot leave you here. Lay hold of my tail, and do hold it fast." And he pulled him out of the river gorge, and speaking upon him as they got back to the bank, "Your brothers have set a watch to kill you if they will return, if they ever find you within the kingdom." So he dressed himself as a poor man, and he came secretly to the king's court, and was scarcely within the doors, when the horse began to eat, the bird to sing, and the princess left off its weeping. Then he went to the king, and told him all his brother's roguery, and they were seized, and duly punished within the prisons, and he had the princess given to him once again, and after the king's death he became heir to the kingdom. A long while after, he went to walk one day in the wood, and the old fox met him, and besought him with tears within his eyes to kill him, to cut off his head, and to cut off his feet. At last the boy did do so, and in that moment the fox was changed once more, and into a man, who turned out to be the brother of the princess, who had been lost so a great many years.